Hello, friends. This is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, April 22nd, 2025. Happy Earth Day. It's Earth Day today as they pollute the hell out of everything with their jet fuel exhaust, chemtrails, probably everything else in between. We do appreciate the constant pollution as they complain about CO2 emissions. So we do appreciate the hypocrisy, lies, and idiocy. We all breathe the same air. I don't know. Are they lizards? Are they freaking aliens? I don't know. Seems like a lot of these people don't care. They act, especially here in California, they act like they care about the clean air, but they don't care about jet fuel exhaust polluting the hell out of everything, for one of many environmental crises we face. Homeless encampments, syringes laying everywhere. I don't know. There's a lot of environmental pollution going on this Earth Day. We'll get to a little bit of that. Thank you to everybody joining us on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. I think I got it together a little bit better today as your producer, so we can have some clean transitions. I sorted that out. But that was weird yesterday with Raven Kiefer. He messaged me and said him clicking the link to come on Weaponized News crashed his phone. He had to reset it. Like, we're still trying to figure out, but we're going to get that guy on the show. Something weird's going on there. I don't know. All this tech has a lot of bugs, glitches all the time. Who knows? Who knows what goes on? But there's a sign that we got to get that guy on, is all I'm saying, with all these technical difficulties. Shout out to, and they said I won't say your name on the air, but I did get a donation for some stickers, some Weaponized News stickers, and I will be putting those in the mail tomorrow for you guys. So shout out to, and they put, I wonder who it was from or who had a part in it. In the notes, they said taxation is theft. Guess who? So here are some of the Weaponized News stickers. We got this one's kind of beat up, but I'll give you a new one. This one's been in the drawer. My kid's been playing with it. But the old holograph one, it's Pride Day every day here at Weaponized News with this, your Rainbow Pride sticker. This one is the clear white background, and then we have one with the clear background as well. Put it on your bumper, your laptop, your guitar. Put it on your Tesla, hell. Then we can play victim when they attack a Tesla because it had a Weaponized News sticker on it, huh? Tesla's in bad shape, man. Down like over 70% in this quarter's earnings, first quarter of 2025. Tesla's in bad shape. But don't you worry, was it even ever about battery-powered cars? I don't think it was. I think it was always about technocracy, scientific dictatorship. That's where we're at. And so we're getting red meat. We're getting red meat for those of us that want to downsize the federal government and go about abolishing it. Maybe someday, possibly, we can dream. But they're replacing it with AI, taking humans out of the equation. And so that's where it's be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. So that's where we're at. A few people tuning in there on the old X, I see. We're shadow banned there to oblivion. They trashed X. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell old Elon Musk is doing. They turned off the news feed. I got to figure out a way to get my news feed back, because it takes me a lot longer to gather the news. I'll figure out a way. So what else do we got? Earth Day, of course, as I said. It's also National Parks Week. Our national parks are very nice, actually. I haven't gone to any this year, but last year I went to 2 with the family. Yosemite National Park and Sequoia National Park. Very nice indeed. Everyone should get out to a national park in their area. I don't know what yours are like in your area. Those are like all within 3 hours of me. Very nice, and it's well worth it. Remember, they were outraged, having breakdowns over firing the downsizing, the protests. They had protests at Yosemite Park, but it's quite a sight to behold. Remember, they said no one. You fired the only locksmith, and now we can't open any locks. Remember that stupid excuse? Anyway, happy National Parks Week. We should go out to them and use them, and before they cut off public access, as they continue to try through UN Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, cut off public access to wilderness lands. That's part of it. We fought it here in Fresno County for many years already. Okay, what else do we got? We got more dystopic images from yesterday, Easter at the White House, with the Easter Bunny, very Christian of the White House, as everything they do is nowadays. They're rolling out the anti-Christian weaponization of government program coming out of the Department of Justice. That's kind of big news, but it's what kind of Christian are you? And I thought there was a thing like freedom of religion. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the government was oppressing Christians in the government. There was a big terrorist attack allegedly in India. That's quite horrific. We'll cover a little bit of that. I guess the big news of the day is that Putin has said that he's going to make a peace deal, potentially. They said it a couple different times, but it looks like hopefully we're going to have a peace deal there in Ukraine. Putin has offered to freeze the war along current front lines and propose peace deal with Trump, according to the Financial Times. That's good news. Stop killing people. They still got a lot more to sort out. We'll get to that report. Of course, aardvark insanity, as always. Hey, I don't know what else you want with your weaponization against Christians in America here, because Trump, maybe you should point at him first, the leader, our dear MAGA leader, because Trump says him and Bibi are on the same side of every issue. They're on the same side of genocide, ethnic cleansing, aardvark, real estate redevelopment program. I think so. We've been reporting on it since the beginning, but now he's saying it. He pretty much said it before, but explicitly saying as much here now. And so there's some good Christian acts from President Trump. And of course, MAGA blindly cheers it on. And that's where we're at here. It's quite a horrific situation we find ourselves in. The FDA has banned food dyes, but it's going to be phased in. All that and much more on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. Let me get to this day in history, and then we'll get to all the news for you. Thank you, everybody, tuning in right now. I see a few people jumping in the chat on the Rumble. Shout out to you guys, Weaponized News Hounds. Arr, 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 arr. Thank you for joining us. See a few people in the YouTube chat as well. We got this guy, Barry. He's always mean to the state. I don't know why. The state's giving us everything, right? The state is God, according to some of these statists. MAGA now. I love how the right-wingers and left-wingers, F the government whenever the supposed other side is in power. But when their side gets in, they love the government. So they're all just complete and utter frauds. Complete and utter hypocrisy. We're still waiting. I'm that skeleton meme on my keyboard waiting for someone to be arrested in the federal government for all the fraud that was allegedly exposed, all the misdoings, wrong deeds, stealing taxpayer money, running all these different scam, scheme, fraud, racketeering operations. Still waiting. We're hunting down the Tesla attackers at the Justice Department, nationwide manhunt, but still no indictments against all the crimes. And I'm still waiting on the medical intervention crimes against humanity that in large part, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people participated in, maybe even millions. I'm not meme skeleton on my keyboard, still waiting. Probably not going to ever happen. Okay, on this day in history, going back to 1521, on April 22nd, French King Francis I declares war against the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V and the Habsburg Empire. That's quite a war right there. In 1526, the first slave revolt in North America occurred in a Spanish settlement now part of South Carolina. In 1889, a 1.9 million acre tract of Indian territory for white colonial settlement in Oklahoma officially opens for settlement at 12 p.m. on this day. In 1898, U.S. President McKinley orders a blockade of the Cuban harbors. In 1915, the first military use of poisonous gas occurs when Germany uses chlorine gas against the Allies during World War I in Wipers. Wipers. That's quite horrific. World War I, when we saw the introduction of chemical weapons. Quite horrific indeed. In 1933, the Dutch government forbids left-wing radio addresses. In 1945, the Battle of Berlin, it's allegedly it's reported that the Germans did not offer a counteroffensive to the Battle of Berlin. Let me read to you what it says right here in our official account. The Battle of Berlin, upon being informed that a planned counterattack never happened, Adolf Hitler flies into a rage, denounces the German army, and concedes World War II is lost. Now, did any of that really happen? I don't know. That's the official story. So that's what I'm reporting to you here now. Pretty significant in world history, actually. In 1954, the USSR, Soviet Union, joins UNESCO to do their part for scientific dictatorship. In 1969, the first human eye transplant was performed. No word on if the recipient of the transplant lived or could see again. In 1970, we saw Earth Day was founded. The first Earth Day celebrated, founded by, I'm sure Barry will like this, Gaylord Nelson. So there you go. We do like our junior high humor here. In 1976, the first female, for you womans out there, the first female nightly news anchor, Barbara Walters, debuted on ABC News. Feminist, nothing but lies and propaganda. No, actually, probably back then, 1976, we at least had some. I mean, they were trying a little bit, the network news, to give us something that wasn't just 100% lies and propaganda. I guess they try a little bit now, but then it seemed like they're at least reporting honestly on big pharma, let's say. Okay. In 1993, the Holocaust Memorial Museum was dedicated in Washington, D.C. How could we ever forget? 6 million, right? And in 2020, Sudan bans female genital mutilation, makes it a criminal offense. All right. So we got, let's go ahead and play Oh, and we got this guy, for whatever it's worth, I don't know. Now I just scrolled off it, but what's his name? Steve Hilton. He's like a former Fox News guy, had a show on there. He's announced he's running for governor of California. Let's see here. I just had it up and it scrolled off of it. Let's see. Yeah, Steve Hilton. He says it's time to make California golden again. The guy's a Brit. He's not even from California. Whatever, dude. They'll probably elect him. I don't know. It's pretty fake. All these people just are fake to me. They're just all fake. They never go. They won't go all the way. They want to keep us in that box of controlled narrative. It's the Democrats bad. They are, but it's a lot more than that. Republicans are just as bad. If we had real opposition from Republicans in California, the Democrats wouldn't be able to do what they've been able to do in this state. But we don't have real opposition. It's fake. It's the government. And they all go to the country club and smoke cigars and drink martinis and literally laugh in our face as they pull off their human masks and put on their real clothing of lizard people. I'm just making that up, but I mean, I don't really believe they're lizard people, or do I? I don't know. They're definitely possessed by an evil spirit, at the very least. They're psychopaths. And so however you see that sorting out as being a lizard or just a very extremely evil and bad human being, however you may see that, is who these people are. Anyway, this guy's running, Steve Hilton. I don't know, he has a little bit of celebrity power behind him, but I mean, you consider, I don't know. It's just so rigged in California. We've went over it before. I really don't feel like going over it again, but the voting in California is, they've got it rigged every which way you possibly can. And that's not even, and that's before you even get to the electronic voting machines, which can never be rigged. Every other way. Anyway, have fun voting for Steve Hilton, I guess, conservatives. Seems like a, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he will win. Who knows? Who knows? All right. He says one party rule is crushing the California spirit. By the way, making they say another post, because I was just scrolling through this. Steve Hilton, the ultimate grifter. Yeah, probably is. Gold. Oh, look, we have Thomas from Alpha Mega Energy on the line. He's going to be triggered by gold prices breaking 3,500. It's went down a little bit, but record high for gold. Barry, I can't even say it, but I'll put it on the screen. That's probably about right there. It's probably about right, Barry, who these jokers are. It's quite horrific indeed. Okay, for Thomas's segue to him, we'll play a couple Earth Day clips. Here's Earth Day. We're celebrating Earth Day today. Be sure to dump your oil in the storm gutter for Earth Day, right? So they act like everyone does. So here's a message from the EPA, who didn't see a piece of Earth they didn't want to poison. Here's a message from the new EPA. Actually, the most, I think the best thing coming out of the Trump administration, honestly, to this point, is the EPA rolling back all of this climate change BS. Is the best that I've seen come out of the Trump administration to this point, led by Lee Zeldin, like real actionable things. They're not deporting a bunch of people like they said they would. We went through all kind of lies from them, but one thing that they have done is roll back a bunch of this climate change, CO2 is going to kill everybody BS. That's major and very underreported too. But actually, let's hear a message now from the EPA on this Earth Day 2025, and watch this smooth segue. There you go.
From the mountains to the plains, the rivers and the oceans, across our nation's vast landscape, we all have a stake in our environment. This Earth Day, EPA is powering the Great American Comeback, energizing our economy as we carry out our mission of protecting human health and the environment. We remain committed to clean air, land, and water for all Americans. We can and we will accomplish this goal. Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day. See, that's not bad. But then we got this message. This is not good.
Bill Gates and other investors are betting Kadama's systems can reduce carbon dioxide in the air by chopping down and burying trees, which has raised $6.6 million in seed funding from Bill Gates' Breakthrough Energy and others. Scientists say burying trees can reduce global warming as well. I don't know where they're finding these scientists, by the way. To help address the problem, the U.S. Forest Services aims to thin out 70 million acres of western forests, mostly in California, over the next decade, extracting more than 1 billion tons of bone-dried biomass. Normally, when you cut down trees, when you're a lumberjack, when you have a lumber company, you're selling the lumber to build houses, people buying from Home Depot or whatever. They're arguing that they want to, rather than sell the timber, take all that wood and just bury it, because they're saying that that is a better solution. And so, in other words, this is a business.
It needs to be done here in California, especially. They haven't managed the forest in 20 freaking years because of the spotted owl is an endangered species. And so it needs to be done. Can we use the lumber for building houses? I don't know, maybe. Or maybe we'll just bury it. I don't know. Let's bring a scientist on, Thomas from Alpha Mega Energy. We'll ask him if burying the lumber will help with climate change. How you doing this Tuesday, Thomas?
Mic check here. Am I coming through?
You're good.
Good. We're having some issues there. The electricity went off in Cambodia twice across the capital city grid. It's like the old days in here where it used to go off like every single day. It's gotten a little bit better.
If you guys would pay carbon tax, that wouldn't happen. Will burying lumber help fight global warming?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, hey, who could be more correct about everything than your doctor, Bill Gates? Everything he says is gospel. You don't have a choice. It's not like you have a choice, right? You have no say in the matter. It's for climate change, and they're saying yesterday, Ursula von der Leyen is saying yesterday across the world that climate change is getting much worse. We need to combat CO2 in the sky. We can't have that nasty fertilizer in the sky. So let's chop all the trees down and bury it underground so that we can suck more of the plant fertilizer, because in these poor countries, black and brown countries, there's too much crop yield. We got to get those crop yield down. We got to get rid of those goyim. We can't have
can't have them eating. What about this? What do you think about this? And they've rediscovered about Ruckus's comment. He says they de-extincted the dire wolf. All endangered species arguments are mute now. They're finding new species all the time too, and it's like these freaking scientists declaring endangered don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's just an excuse to a land grab, essentially, to keep people off the land, because they're always. I read the science news. They're discovering new species, and they're like, "Oh, we thought this one was extinct. Oh, here's a bunch of them." You know what I mean? And they're, "Oh, here's one we never even documented yet, a new species." So, what do you think about that? The whole dire wolf alleged, Jurassic Park deal. Does that make the endangered species argument mute now, as Ruckus has suggested here in the comments?
Well, that's interesting. By pulling yet another psyop that they can bring back the dinosaurs. Where's all the dinosaurs? I mean, you notice they're not bringing dinosaurs back. I thought that was first on the table, is to bring back dinosaurs, and they're going to a dire wolf, which that's a really easy one to fraud. Where's all of their
Remus
uh,
and Romulus, they named it the founders of the Roman Empire, right?
where's the actual evidence that that's an actual dire wolf, right?
I just trust what they say. You're questioning science here now?
Well, isn't that
We're not
what
allowed to on YouTube to
yeah,
question the science.
science is supposed to be about questions, but it
No,
certainly is.
that's a conspiracy theory. The scientific method is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, how dare you actually engage in the actual scientific method to question these endless psyop fraudsters on their endless crimes? So here they might have blown it for themselves again, not thinking as liars.
Unintended consequences, yeah.
Right, they never think ahead. What people? Oh shit, that blows our whole scam
The
in
whole
some.
endangered species scam.
Right, exactly. So that's quite fantastic. They're a good job crowd. That'll catch on. I encourage you to ask that of all of the anti-climate change accounts, of which there's many, and all of the anti-climate change fraud accounts, which, hey, good for them. I support what they're doing there. But very strangely, all of those people are, most of them probably paid by the Rockefellers and Rothschilds to do this. And it turns out, interestingly enough,
Well, they play both sides of every big controversy, it seems.
yeah, and you had
Just like they fund both sides of every war, they fund both sides of every controversy. You can't lose that way.
yeah, Michael Schellenberger has worked for both sides. Interestingly enough, done a complete and total flip flop, just like Dr. Oz has done a complete and total remake of his fake movie character on the TV screen and in the political scene. Flip flop from one side of the political aisle to the other, from radical democrat to shotgun toting copycat of Dr. Evil Dick Cheney shooting people in the face in the duck shooting fields. So it's amazing what they do. So here we have it again. Just as long as you don't question the science, as long as you don't ask, hey, I mean, it's just that those wolves look like every other exotic Aikido wolf from way up north or somewhere in Ural Mountains or something like that to me. What is the actual difference? Where's the actual veracity? Did they send over a team of independent skeptics, conspiracy theorists, to actually run any tests? No, of course they didn't, and they're not going to do that. There won't be any veracity of the testing. But hey, as long as you don't question Jabba the Slob, trans man and LGBTQ agenda, say Kevin McCarran, this sociopath who's on the internet running these massive libel, slander, and defamation campaigns against anyone who dares question any kind of science at all, bragging that he is the running organizing nest commander officer of these controlled opposition online misinformation and disinformation centers. He's bragging about doing it, and even one of his paid colleagues, J.J. Cooey of GigaOhm Biological, exposed him and went public, talking about him being paid to do this, and this guy Rixey, being paid by the DOD to do it as well and run counter intel and be a gatekeeper. And then, of course, McCarran went after this guy, J.J. Cooey, incessantly on the internet, just in the most disgusting, sycophantic, just completely demonically possessed, evil spat defamation campaign probably you could see anywhere. I'm not sure if he's deleted those weeks of videos going after this guy, yelling and screaming and swearing like a belligerent psychopath on YouTube. But that might have been flagged and deleted by YouTube. It was so over the top, just wild and crazy. Now he's coming after me. So we might see the crowd of Weaponized News supporters might see his troll army of trans people. And he's got this huge throng of LGBTQ pedo flag flyers.
Don't bring that heat on me, dude. Okay, let's go to what am I? I am supporting all the trends and supporting the fight against the oligarchy. Bernie and AOC spotted flying around on private jets on Earth Day. We got video of that. Let's go to this video. They are fighting the oligarchy by flying on private jets, protesting for Earth Day. Yeah, here's the video. Free. You could see Bernie Sanders there. Everything's free, but he's fighting the oligarchy. So you know what I mean? I guess he gets a pass on this Earth Day flying on private jets with his entourage because he's fighting the oligarchy. But the problem is, I wonder where he was the last 5 years. It's the same oligarchy, different puppet in the White House, same oligarchy. Sorry. I guess he doesn't understand that, even though he's been in the Senate, 40 years or something. Okay, continuing here. We're still waiting. Like I'm the meme of the skeleton on my keyboard waiting here, Thomas, for the Epstein files. Trump was asked about it today. Let's go to that clip. Trump doesn't seem to know about it either, coincidentally enough.
Mr. President, you said when can we expect the Epstein documents to be released? The rest of them.
Which documents?
The Epstein files.
I don't know. I'll speak to the Attorney General about that. I really don't know. I know that we've done the RFK, the Kennedy, Martin Luther King is out there very shortly, so we'll find out. But we've really announced we're doing them in full transparency. You know, when we did JFK, people were saying, "Oh, maybe it wasn't all; it was all." And
lying again. That wasn't all. So yeah, we have to check with. Look at this guy too. Another guy, Tim Pool. He's at the White House. I guess he's doing a good job. I don't know. Seems like pretty suspect, honestly. But let's see. Tim Pool is now at the White House press briefing room asking questions with his beanie. Or is it a small hat of the aardvark variety? I don't know. It's very hard to tell.
It sure is. That's already been confirmed. It sure is. Absolutely.
Let's go to Tim Pool at the White House briefing, looking like a freaking a homeless guy. Actually, you would think he would wear a suit, but he has his I guess that's his approved attire. If I went to the White House, I'd wear a damn suit and tie. Sorry, but I mean that's just me.
Many of the news organizations that are represented in this room have marched in lockstep on false narratives, such as the Very Fine People hoax, the Covington smear, and now what's being called the Maryland Man hoax, where an MS-13 gang member adjudicated by 2 different judges, I believe, is just simply being referred to as a Maryland Man over and over again. Now, in an effort from the White House to expand access to new companies, you've created this new media seat. So I'm wondering if you can comment on following this expansion, you've had numerous outlets disparage the companies that you've had sit here, as well as the reporters. I'm wondering if you could comment on that unprofessional behavior, as well as elaborate if there's any plans to expand access to new companies.
Sure. Well, we certainly welcome diverse viewpoints in this room, which is.
Rugged says full transparency means even the president has no clue what's up. That's probably pretty close to our sad reality we find ourselves in today.
So here's you can pull up to show everybody what his hat is. It's called a kippa.
It's a beanie. He's a skater. He's a skater, man.
Yeah, they have many different styles of their hats, and this is officially called a kippa. So I just put up a kippa beanie, and this is the traditional aardvark.
He's a skater, dude. Come on.
Yeah, he's an aardvark. So
Okay, so
Nothing is more welcoming to the aardvark media than bringing on the new age of aardvark media. I mean, you gotta make a huge hoopla.
I guess it's fair. I guess
like
it's
as if you're putting something different on when 90+% of the media is owned by aardvark.
he looks freaking like a homeless wino at the White House. At least put on a suit and tie. Jesus. Anyway, yeah, I don't think our audience here in the chat is too big a
Aardvark
fan.
Zelensky did. I mean, they're making a point.
Tim Pool is a limited hangout sellout POS. Somebody in there said, I think it was our unpaid co-producer. Thank you for that message. Okay, what do you think about this? Prince William to attend the Pope's funeral on behalf of the King. Is Prince William going to be the king here in short order, as King Charles has cancer allegedly? He has those fat fingers. I forget even what his condition is, but his fingers look like sausages. He's like not in good shape, I don't think. Always worshiping Satan and all this type of behavior, shape-shifting between aliens and lizards, and it's just unhealthy lifestyle for old King of England. Are we going to see King William anytime soon? What do you think, as the successor to the throne, or will they, or are we done with the monarchy finally? What do you think about that?
They're gonna keep it going.
They're gonna keep it going.
Yeah, they'll definitely keep it going. Why would they end that?
Because it's played out. It's just played out. People have had their it's played out. No.
Will it actually be William, or will it be Harry, who's all kinds of twisted up? We'll see.
Well, the king's not even going, so I mean,
he might get the liberal version, which is Harry, right? So
you would think that. I think he's been disowned though for marrying the half black chick, isn't he?
Well, hey, married a Goyim coming out of the Rothschild bloodline.
They had to mix up they had to mix up the blood because it was getting a little bit too retarded. You know what I mean? Yeah, inbred, and that tends to have genetic defects and retardation. Not to be offensive, but it's the truth. When you're having breeding with your cousins and so on, then it doesn't turn out good.
Well, they made Diana disappear. It's a little bit hard to make
But they already had the kids. They had the kids before that, right?
It's a little bit difficult.
So they got the kids out of her and then 86'd her.
So it's a little bit difficult to make Harry's wife disappear when she's not in the castle, right? So it'd be better to get her back in the castle, so then they can Diana her and then fix the situation according to the climate change goals. Right?
Maybe. Let's take another look. These just came out today. Official photos from the White House on their dystopic Easter Monday. Let's take a look with the Easter bunny hopping around, mocking us as they say this is for Jesus, literally mocking us. And we have more mockery of Christians here by the Department of Justice. But let's blast through these images from the White House. Very dystopic. I like my dystopic Easter bunny White House images. Got a bunch of them here. That doesn't have the Easter bunny. There we go, with Melania. That is a better looking Easter bunny than the white one that Biden had. That was especially dystopic. Here's some more images of the Easter bunny. Oh, that's very cute. Melania there. Is the book right side up, allegedly reading to children. And then here's Trump. Love signing stuff, that's for sure. Maybe they'll use that pen, the auto sign pen, on his executive orders like Biden did. We don't even know who the hell was pushing there we go. Happy Easter, bye, and very dystopic. The Easter bunny, the obelisk there, the Washington Monument. I'm sure that Jesus Christ would approve of all this blasphemy right here, worshiping of idols, and the phallic symbol there. Extremely dystopic there at the White House. And so we do appreciate that on Weaponized News. Okay, the Justice Department here, Thomas. So you can Christians are. It's safe to be a Christian in the federal government again. Allegedly, they're telling us. Well, let's put it on the screen instead of how many? There's probably I don't know, hundreds of thousands. I don't know how many, but they exposed DOGE and all the flurry of in the first 60 days of the Trump administration, just fraud upon fraud upon fraud, of scam upon scam upon scam. Much of it had to be engineered from the inside of the government to get this sensitive data to be able to pull these scams off. Literally, no one's in trouble. But now we see Pam Bondi post today, they're going after anti-Christian bias in the government. Let's put that on the screen. But what kind of Christian are they talking about? Is it Christian, evangelical Christian Zionists, religious fanatic maniacs who are on par with radical jihadists? I would say so. She says it is past time to end the anti-Christian weaponization of government started by the last administration. As per the president's executive order, the DOJ held the first task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias meeting today. And here they all are with their little aardvark lovingness. I guess this one's like an Indian woman. I don't know. But there they are. Why is Bobby Kennedy Jr. HHS on the anti-Christian task force? Are any of these people Christians, or are they really just dark occultist Satanists? You got to ask yourself that question. They got the dog killer there, Kristi Noem, Brunette Barbie, and Cash Patel literally arrested no one in the government. Yeah.
There is Cash Patel is now going after Andrew Cuomo, which is that's interesting, surprising. And
they did smear him on the. Oh, did I screw it up? I think I screwed up my my thing here. Anyway,
going after Cuomo, so that's good news.
But they smeared him. If you noticed on the bat disease website that they created on last Friday, there was a section about Cuomo, so they are going after a fall guy apparently, and it's going to be Cuomo. Sadly enough, big fan of Cuomo over here. Cuomo killed Granny, of course, but who cares? He's running. He's running for mayor of New York City now.
He reduced the population for climate change. I mean,
there you go. So he's a great hero. He's a great left-wing hero, indeed.
He took some of those CO2 breathers out, right? So shouldn't he get some of your climate taxes redirected? A reward, right? That's probably coming next in the policy. I'll postulate that new conspiracy theory, since all the conspiracy theories are gone already. They all came true. 400, 500 plus of them in a row, all were true. So we need some new ones. So I'll postulate a new one. They'll start paying bonuses for population reduction to government officials.
We wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, let's see here. By the way, I'm live producing. I got a guy that I'm going to get on the show here. Trying to line up a bunch of interesting, informative guests. And it looks like I might have a guy to come on talk more about the technocracy that we all know and love so much, the scientific dictatorship, specifically focused on that. So he just sent me a message as I reached out to him earlier today. So it's looking good on the production end of Weaponized News. Thank you very much. Okay, so did I screw this up? They changed up my whole layout, so I'm like off. Let me see if this works. No, we're still good. Okay, here is Bondi. Let's hear about her anti-Christian bias weaponization of government program, eradication program.
Thank you all for joining us today. We're excited to be here for the launch of the Task Force to Eradicate Anti-Christian Bias as outlined in the President's Executive Order. Joining me today are members of the task force and individuals who have been impacted by the anti-Christian bias. Together, this task force will identify any unlawful anti-Christian policies, practices, or conduct across the government. Seek input from the faith.
Let's back that up. If Bobby Kennedy's at this meeting, shouldn't he be slapping these artificial sweeteners out of their hand and highly processed sugar that they're going to put in their coffee? I think so. Bobby Kennedy should tackle this guy and arrest him for this poison right here that they're going to use to sweeten their coffee. Sorry.
That's a good eye right there.
Just saying, there's aspartame in there and other highly toxic chemicals. Continuing.
Policies, practices, or conduct across the government. Seek input from the faith-based organizations and state governments to end anti-Christian bias. Find and fix deficiencies in existing and regulatory practices that might contribute to the anti-Christian bias. As President Trump has stated, the Biden administration engaged in an egregious pattern of targeting peaceful Christians while ignoring violent anti-Christian offenses. The president is right. Biden's Department of Justice abused and targeted Christians. Pro-life Christians were arrested and imprisoned for peacefully praying outside abortion clinics. The FBI spied on traditional Catholics in their parishes. President Biden declared Easter Sunday to be Transgender Day of Visibility. No longer. Vandalism against churches was 8 times higher in 2023 than it was in 2018. And as at President Trump's directive, we ended those abuses at the Department of Justice on day one. We dropped 3 ongoing cases against pro-lifers and redefined the FACE Act to ensure that abuse would not continue and that American tax dollars were not used to support the weaponization of our legal system to target Christians. Just a few weeks ago, we convicted a man in Arizona for a plot to bomb Christian churches. The Department of Justice will protect religious liberty for Christians and for all Americans. We'll work closely with everyone around this table and take a whole of government approach to solving this problem and ultimately protect Americans' First Amendment rights. The First Amendment isn't just a line in the Constitution, it's the cornerstone of our American liberty. It guarantees every citizen the right to speak freely, worship freely, and live according to their conscience without government interference.
But what if you don't agree with their fake Schofield Bible, Christian, evangelical Christian Zionist prophecy? Then are they going to come after you? I think they are. I think they are. And you have to be the right kind of Christian under this administration.
Yeah, you can't dare break the law by
calling out genocide in aardvark land,
right?
And saying I think your prophecy is BS, and you're not getting freaking raptured out of here. That's BS too.
Or stating the facts that aardvarks killed Jesus. You certainly can't say the truth. All right.
We need to get that one guy back on here. He'll get all fired up. That guy, I think me and you had him on. What's his name? Yeah. Green. Yeah, we need to get that guy back on. He'll fire everybody up with his take. I think he's like a Viking or something. We need to get that guy on. Anyway, he goes after everybody and gets everybody all fired up. So, okay, so maybe, I don't know, maybe they will, but we have First Amendment is the freedom of religion. So in America, allegedly, according to the First Amendment, you have the freedom to worship whatever God, creator, religion that you want. But it seems now we're leaning heavy aardvark, heavy evangelical Christian, and it's Zionist. We're leaning heavy that way here now. And so are we going to be violating all these other Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, I don't know, Christians that don't agree with your doctrine? Are we going to be violating all of their rights? We'll have to wait and see, but I have a sneaking suspicion we will be here, or the federal government will be. I won't, because I honor the First Amendment and appreciate that's America. You're free to worship whatever you want here. Okay, there was a horrible terrorist attack allegedly in India today. At least 24 people were killed after a gunman opened fire on a tourist group in India, in the Bajaran Valley near Pulgaram, Juna Kashmir. Officials are calling it the worst civilian target attack in the region in years. So that was quite horrific. In India, it's being strongly condemned across the world, as it should be, as we're waiting for more details to come out about what was the actual motive of this alleged terrorist attack, with 24 plus probably killed now.
Well, maybe it was somebody very angry about Prime Minister Modi committing to buy billions and billions of billions, tens of billions, maybe hundreds of billions of American-made products and services, and not buy from China, which is making the dollar doomers, the super collapsers, cry their eyes out here in the last couple of days since Modi announced it, wondering when the hell is the dollar going to collapse?
We'll get to the economic section. You'll get triggered by the gold price. Okay, actually, here it is. The economic section of the show. The student loans. The government should be going after predatory lenders, the universities, the banks for taking advantage of 17, 18-year-old kids who are poor and want to get an education in these indoctrination centers we call universities here in America. But instead, they're going after the victims of predatory lending, the students. And so here's from the White House today. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt with withholding tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. So they're going to put a freaking levy on your bank account and seize your wages. They're getting this money back for the banks that predatory lent to many of these victims. That's here now from the White House. And then, of course, it's the government's fault as well. It's just lies all around, taking advantage of the youth in America. We wouldn't have it any other way.
Put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion, but fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans? The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers' tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple.
I have mixed feelings about this because I agree. I took out some student loans at college and I paid them all back. But I do feel like they are predatory lending on the youth as well. So it's a mixed bag for me on this issue. What do you think? Should they forgive the student loans and go after the predatory lenders, or should they levy people's wages to make sure they're paid back? The taxpayers, the banks, in my opinion, should eat it and be prosecuted for predatory lending practices. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a hybrid solution of some of each are good. I mean, you could tax Bill Gates, tax the ill-gotten gains of these.
He's saving the planet, and he saved everybody's life during the medical intervention. So that's kind of, and he's a philanthropist as well. So I mean, he's already giving enough, isn't he, Thomas?
Well, you could tax the ill-gotten gains of the injections companies who
That's
require
true.
require the students to take these injections just to go to school in the first place. So they're taking their
tax the ill-gotten gains of the banks. Why not directly with the parties involved?
Right, and some of those people aren't completing their school because they're sick. They have all of these issues and damage, and it was shown that what was the percentage? 60% or 50% of the kids showing up with D-dimer clots in the D-dimer tests after that. Maybe I better say maybe due to the censorship regime.
Allegedly, that's due to their treatment for bat cough. But it's that's the new health food. Okay, so they're doing that. So regardless of how we feel about it, they're doing it. So be aware out there, if you owe student loans and you defaulted, they're coming after you with collections, and they're going to get their money one way or another. So
maybe they can collect one of Bernie Sanders's many houses,
or maybe one of his jet airplanes. I don't know. Okay, yeah, maybe Bernie will donate. He's for the people, and everything's free. So and then misleading. There's probably some. If we had real lawyers that actually were fighting for the people, I'm sure there's a lawsuit against the government somewhere with the Biden administration's fraudulent attempts to forgive student loan debt, pandering for votes, you know what I mean, which never came to fruition. And so they essentially sent everybody, all these student loan debtors, on a wild goose chase, trying to get votes from them. And so they seem to be part of this whole scheme as well. And maybe they are have some liability in this whole debacle. But I would say I want to go after the predatory lenders first and foremost, and then the government after that. Okay, be careful what you wish for. I want this, but then, of course, it's backhanded. The Trump administration launches the biggest shakeup in decades at the State Department. Internal documents obtained by the Free Press detail plans to close 132 offices, including those launched to prevent further human rights abuses, counter extremism, and prevent war crimes. But don't you worry, of the 734 different offices at the State Department, we'll still have 602 with only 132 agencies being cut. So just think of that. It's hard to fathom. The State Department now, before these cuts, has 734 different agencies. I think it's growing quite large and out of control, to say the least. Here's a couple. We'll put it on the screen. Here's a couple org charts you can't even print. They don't even make paper big enough to fit these org charts all on. But here's a couple org charts, how all these different agencies keeping us safe from the crisis and false flags that the government creates and the hoaxes to keep us safe here. Quite a bit of State Department departments and agencies here. And this is just, it goes on and on and on. And that's just a little bit of it. So what do you think of this? These are DOGE cuts. Is this good, bad? Are we unsafe now because we're cutting 132 offices from the State Department?
Well, as long as they're cutting the offices that are combating human rights crimes of Israel, and as long as they're cutting any criticism.
They're cutting the offices to prevent war crimes and human rights abuses.
Right, yeah. So those people that are campaigning against it, talking about these issues, those are the ones being cut, because Israel is the greatest ally of America, and you can't dare criticize. That's anti-Semitic, even though they're not Semites.
It's hate speech. We won't allow it on this show. So that's going on, the backhanded cutting of government, but as you see, maybe not the government we want cut. I say abolish it all. We'll have to see. One can dream. So all of this is to bring out the technocracy, because they're not really cutting any government. They are physically firing the people, but it's going to be replaced by computers, by AI, by Palantir specifically. And that's not going to be anything nice either, because they're going to, you're not going to, you think government is hard to deal with now with these inept humans or just tyrannical humans. Now we're going to have a computer program to deal with that there is no question about it. It is programmed to do what it is to do, which is hardcore tyranny on us. And so they're rolling out the Skynet, technocracy, scientific dictatorship, interface, rule by unelected experts, think tanks, bureaucrats, corporately aligned institutions, and technocrats. And so they're the ones programming the AI Palantir system here now, for efficiency, of course. Take a look at this. The U.S. data center construction spending during the AI boom. Look at this graph. This is off the charts here. This graph about see that? U.S. data center construction spending surges with AI boom. And you can see right here, around 2023 to 24, it's almost vertical. And that's measured in billions of dollars, seasonally adjusted for inflation as well.
Venture capital investors are putting 58% of their money into fake intelligence apps. What is
not just the apps, it's the data centers to power them.
Well, that's separate. This is that's totally separate. Just the fake intelligence apps alone, 58% of the VC dollars are going into that. And what does the audience think of all of the priorities of what needs funding in America for all of the problems in America? And all
we need data centers, Thomas. We need data centers.
Right. What is important on the list for you? And do fake intelligence apps make that list? Are they on the top priority? Do you need more fake intelligence apps?
I do, because they broke Google. I mean, we already had a great search engine. At one time, Google was a great search engine, and they destroyed that with their censorship and social engineering. And so now we have to use these other AI fake intelligence apps as search engines, and they're going to destroy those with their social engineering as well. It feels like we're in a replay of the movie, because they hook you in. It's all awesome and organic in the beginning, and it is awesome. And then they slowly turn the screws of censorship, social engineering, and mind control on us to where you get nothing but search results from Palantir and pro aardvark. And so it's quite horrific here. The audience say they love it. They love there's nothing better to spend money on than data centers that are going to prop up Skynet and send a Terminator drone to summarily execute you in the near future here now. Terminator was a documentary. Okay, let's go to our commercial break. Get your commercial ready there, Thomas. I'll play mine first. Here's a word from our sponsor, Abba Zaba Enterprises.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abba Zaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abba Zaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250.
All right, you got your commercial?
Yeah, go ahead here. Abba Zaba Enterprises. Sounds good to me. Get them to do my upcoming taxes. So with all the data center spending and all of the fake intelligence spending out there, 58% of new VC funding. But at least we've got another day, another $5 billion crypto scam rug pull by Silicon Valley types. establishment and establishment-funded and supported coder criminals, full of bought and paid for prostitute KOLs and their hype FOMO and the big VC money that the innovators never get support from, going into here, data centers and fake intelligence, and all of this absolute garbage. Let's pull that off here and get an executive summary up here. But what is the alternative for humanity amongst all of these scams? Here it is, Alpha Omega Energy. Finally fund breakthrough energy startups instead of chopping down all of the forests and lying that there's no technology developed yet, and the technologies are still yet to be developed. There's actually over 15,000 clean energy startups on a single list, all of them not funded. None of the 54 main breakthrough energy innovators over the last 30 years has ever been funded. None of the breakthrough energy innovators in any of the conferences has ever been funded in the last 30 years. Here's our executive summary in a one-pager version, which includes we won 14 international awards, taught new technologies that Fukushima Daiichi has been using. I just gave it to them, 2 technologies, on site in 2018. And we're trying to get on the token market here, unfunded. And of course, the slanderers going after anybody and attacking them. But here is the real solution. And of course, Bill Gates has said, don't fund it. So if you have the common sense, unlike Bill Gates, to actually solve these energy issues, energy crisis everywhere around the world, and the prices going up. And now in California, all over the news, the refineries are leaving California. Thanks, Gavin Newsom, for your incredible wisdom and leadership. All the refineries leaving California and don't have any oil on hand, don't have any oil stock at all. So they got to leave. And there's California claims to, right, Newsom claims to pride himself on the technological innovation and cutting edge innovation of California, and the innovators have to leave. You can't even build in there because your technology will be seized. There's no funding for you. There's no funding for you unless you're from the establishment and pushing the establishment narrative, and you're an LGBTQ rainbow with now the pedo flag is been replaced as the LGBTQ flag. And unless you're one of those, you're definitely not going to get funded by the aardvark chop shop exploitation, anti-entrepreneurship exploitation centers like Y Combinator and Techstars, run by Cohens. Interestingly enough, I guess that's just another coincidence, though.
So they say Chloe says maybe you guys are all Democrats. Well, yeah, if Bernie and AOC are fighting the oligarchy, so yeah, I mean, vote for them, and then everything will be fine. And you'll get funded if we just vote for Bernie and AOC.
Yeah, by who? Right, the oligarchy. Definitely, the oligarchy is not Jeff Bezos. It's definitely not Bill Gates. It's definitely not BlackRock and Larry Fink. It's definitely not Howard Lutnick. Right, you notice how he gets a total pass. All of the aardvarks in the Trump administration.
It's only, yeah. Well, he
the white guy is the most evil guy in the world. Oh, that guy who's an aardvark that's actually exposing some of the aardvark massive fraud. Elon Musk. Oh, he's getting the attack or the fake attack, right, to get the conservatives to do whatever he says is the next celebrity puppet delivered to you. Right, but none of the aardvarks, which is a huge, massive number in the Trump administration, none of them ever get a single lick or word of criticism. You notice that? Not a single word, not a single person, not a single time, all this time.
6 million, Thomas, 6 million. Okay, on to the economy news now. What are we doing with this trade war, the tariffs? The White House says, according to their press secretary, that the administration received 18 trade proposals from foreign countries so far, and that officials have trade meetings with 34 countries this week alone. So it looks like these high tariffs.
Cambodia.
Maybe we should just carpet bomb them and call it a day.
Again?
Yeah, hell, that's our. Either you take our deal or you're or we'll carpet bomb you. Of course, it's for your health and for your environment on this Earth Day. We wouldn't have it any other way. But the big dog in the fight here is China. Let's hear from the White House press secretary about a potential trade deal with China, as China's been having fun on the interwebs with the memes and the trolling of a Trump administration. Maybe the fun's about over, and it's time to come to the table for a deal. Let's hear from the White House about China.
I asked the president about this before coming out here, and he wanted me to share with all of you that we're doing very well in respect to a potential trade deal with China. As I mentioned, there have now been 18 proposals in more than 100 countries around the world who are wanting to make a deal with the United States of America, and the president and the administration are setting the stage for a deal with China. So we feel everyone involved wants to see a trade deal happen, and the ball is moving in the right direction.
I don't know.
Money in, never money out. So
the IMF is forecasting. Where are they at here? I had a couple of reports. IMF, International Monetary Fund, big frauds, but hey, we love them. The International Monetary Fund slashes 2025 U.S. growth forecast to 1.8% from 2.7%, citing trade tensions.
Yeah, we'll see where it ends up. There's certainly a lot of FDI, foreign direct investment into America at a record pace. It's incredible. And there's an incredibly high demand for treasury bonds, almost record demand for the treasury bonds right now.
Thomas, trigger warning, gold all-time high. It went down a little bit today, but gold broke 3,500 yesterday.
Yeah, it's pretty much in line with the close to 10% drop in the dollar from 110 down to around the 100 area, 99.5 on the DXY dollar index, the international currency index. And gold, of course, is up about 10% as well, right, with the inversion. The price of the dollar, when the dollar gets stronger, it buys more gold. When the dollar gets weaker, the gold price goes up. This has always been the relationship. Of course, they never talk about that. The dollar doomers or the gold bugs, they always avoid this topic as well. But every time that happens, and when you have the aardvarks bombing the hell out of all of these countries and talking about going even more aggressive, and now you have yesterday in press conferences, the Israel representative was asked about these crimes that they're committing, and now they're talking about going into Jordan and going further into Syria and going into Turkey, claiming that Iran is destroying those countries and destroying the lives of the people, and that needs to be combated, and that Iran is the evil of the earth, and they'll be saving humanity by going and attacking, doing unilateral military engagements into even yet more countries. So of course the price of gold is going to go up. People will be buying it from all of those countries, expecting what the hell's going to happen. We can't have our money in our currencies. We need to get it into fixed commodities, and that's what we see in all wartime periods. And now
the stock market went up. The Dow Jones went up 1,000 points today. This is extremely volatile. Went up 1,000 points today to snap a 4-day streak of losses, and so it's extremely volatile right now.
Yeah, record volatility. The traders love it, and they're going to continue scalping and doing their buys, and nowadays, and there's more speculation on the stock markets and more leverage on the stock markets used than ever before. So we see wilder swings than we've seen before, and you can see collapses happen possibly quite quick in the price. And we saw a very fast decline in the stock market of 20%, very quickly down to the 23.6 Fibonacci line before the traders all coming in and buying there and thinking that they're getting the discount of their lifetimes, when all of the elite money is still out, and that elite money did not come in. You did not see a massive surge of volume because a lot of the volume is out of the market due to these elite trading firms, Berkshire Hathaway and BlackRock, deleveraging and getting out of the market, selling all their shares. They're waiting for prices significantly lower. So what
the big institutional money, is
right. What do they know that you don't? And now
they front run the whole market. They make the market essentially.
Right. And what is happening now is Europe is now announcing an escalation of the war. They're now literally announcing this, even further commitments to continue it against Russia.
We'll get to that. They're going to we got news about Putin says that ceasefire. So we'll see how that sorts out. More about the economy. How Trump moves swiftly to punish perceived foes in his first 100 days. Did he? Has he? No one's been punished. I guess they talk about in this article, who's it from? Reuters. He's like removed security clearances. Is that really punishing them? These guys need to they're not even working for the government officially. 50 former national security officials signed a letter, blah, 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 all this BS. And that's punishing foes. Like, they are working directly against his agenda. I think it's his prerogative too. And then going after these criminal law firms, Covington and Burling, one of them, that do all this lawfare. They talk about going after the state of Maine over the transgender men and women sports. It's not that he hasn't arrested anybody for all the crimes. So is he really punishing his foes? I don't think so, honestly. Pretty weak, actually, in my opinion. U.S. military stationed at the border in New Mexico National Defense Area can detain illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. Well, somebody's got to enforce our immigration law there, but this is double-edged sword with the military on U.S. soil. Will they be used against the American people at some point in time after it's normalized to see military on the streets? That's the whole question here. And why has no one from the Biden administration gotten in trouble, arrested Mayorkas and others for allowing the tens of millions of illegal aliens to cross the border, human trafficking, drug trafficking, name the contraband trafficking, and on it goes. And literally no one gets in trouble. So start arresting them. They're all criminals, and there's still no arrest. Federal judge orders Trump administration to rehire all Voice of America and Radio Free Asia staff. And so we can't even fire the propagandist here now because federal judge says we have to be American propaganda across the world here now, and we must fully staff Voice of America. It's quite shocking.
Well, they're the Henry Kissinger CIA, so you got to, and all of them are aardvarks. The vast majority of them, from all of Henry Kissinger's frontline proteges, are aardvarks almost exclusively. Melissa Fleming and Jonathan Zittrain at Harvard, who's running the Disinfo Assembly. This Jabba the Slob sociopath Kevin McCarran, who's now
I guess we got to keep the whole thing going.
Dedicated his life, and now he says he's dedicating his life, and maybe the number one priority of his entire life to dismantle your life is what he is saying in the post. I will share that later on here today. So the Weaponized News fans will be excited to have the troll armies coming. I'm surprised they're not here yet today.
I'm not excited. I don't need that heat on me from these maniacs.
Well, more traffic. I'm excited about. I
don't want that kind of traffic from these maniacs. They'll be reporting me and all this BS.
Definitely do. I was laughing my arse off. It'd be great to have them marketing me. We'll see how much traffic they get. I even put up a poll asking people, how much traffic do you think that these psychos are going to generate? This guy just talking about a months-long campaign this is his contribution to humanity, is to prop up fake boogeymen diseases, fake transmissible mad cow diseases, which hasn't happened in 2 years. He's been promising the whole world that this is going to happen imminently for the last 2 years, and it's going to kill 30% of humanity. the only evidence is some fake pictures that they took out of some animals in one of these bioweapons testing facilities, testing on the cows and mice, injecting them with all manner of different experimental bioweapons.
Okay, you're getting out of our sections. Let's get to that in the public health section. We're almost there.
Right.
We're finishing off the economy section of the show here. Tesla profits dropped 71% amidst anti-Musk backlash. Tesla's profits fell in the first quarter of 2025 by 71%. That's quite a significant decline in Tesla profits. Here on Earth Day, we celebrate the battery-powered cars losing 71%.
Well, maybe he can buy Facebook this time.
It is quite significant backlash there. Maybe they should be.
Maybe the Fed can bail him out with all of these billions of dollars in loans that he can get all the time that he gets. That he is endlessly telling you that you should not get, because that will cause goods inflation if you get financing.
Well, don't feel too bad for his 71% loss here, because he is still, even though the battery-powered cars are not going very well, he is still rolling out Skynet, essentially Starlink. It's now available in 120 countries as they're building this web of satellites across the sky. So there will be no escape, no privacy from the Skynet system, the scientific dictatorship here, as we see Musk bragging about it on his censorship platform of X, totally rigged for social engineering. It's way worse now than whenever, quote, liberals, or whatever you want to call them, Jack Dorsey was the head of it. It's 100 times worse.
It is
100 times worse. MAGA, you fools. And anybody supporting it, it's transparently corrupt, because anybody that is a big account that gets, they're clearly being, they're being propped up. Okay, so anything that is allowed to go viral on there is by design social engineering, fake, not organic. At least back in the day of Twitter and Jack Dorsey, you could slide through some organic posts that went viral. Now nothing. They got it locked down 100%. There ain't nothing organic going viral. It's all social engineered propaganda, mind control on the X program for the free speech extraordinaire there, Elon Musk. It's all fake.
And they use all your data.
And they're using all your data to
train.
And
it's all being transferred to the aardvarks in Israel.
To train their AI Skynet scientific dictatorship system.
And you got to sign up for it and send them your ID, so they have even more information on you, and then you got to pay for it. I mean,
you pay for your own enslavement, and so it's a great business model there for these criminals. Elon Musk reportedly now privately admitting he's out of his depth. I don't know if I believe these. They do run a lot of smear pieces, hit pieces, but allegedly, according to the Byte, this is mainstream here, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say if they're just smearing them or this is true. And of course, the Washington Compost, known for their smears against Trump, famously. But anyway, they say another anonymous source, but they say on the condition of anonymity, the unelected billionaire is ready to leave the Trump administration's DOGE and go back to work for Tesla, as he's seen financial problems there, according to unnamed sources. So we got to take that with a grain of salt. It's hard to trust unnamed sources, and they do have a history of smearing the hell out of Trump and the like to create that false narrative of the establishment. It's against him. He's anti-establishment. It's the government. It's the establishment. They're all working for the same team. They're all actors. It's WWE wrestling. Sorry to tell everybody that and break your bubble. I'm sure our audience knows that, but tell your friends, family, and acquaintances to simply go look these people up. They all have ID. What is it? IDBM, whatever the actor thing is. Look up all the people in the Trump administration. They're all actors listed on the actor website. It's just so tiring and sickening to see the political divide in America when us 99% should stick our middle finger up and say, you're fake, lying, criminal scum actors. We're not buying your lies anymore. And we could turn things around real fast, but that's simply not going to happen because people love the slavery and mind control they're under, apparently. let's get into more mind control. Is this going to help or hurt us? We're now in the public health section. You can go off on this character that's going to sick his freaking bot army of psychos on us. Anyway, we got just a few stories in the public health section. Is this going to help or hurt?
Pedo pride, right? I mean, California pedo
You
pride.
can't. I don't think you're allowed to even say that on YouTube. They're the good people that are having an identity crisis. Let's just say.
But how dare you be against the pride, right? You can't be against that.
Well, I've already stated my position. If we can prove it 100% with a corrupt government, then all these people doing crimes against children deserve capital punishment, death penalty, 100%, no questions asked. But the problem is having a corrupt state implement such measures has always been the problem. Okay.
I thought California made it illegal to discriminate against the people claiming that it's their identity to be going after the kids. I forgot the terms that they use, but there's some law against that now. So how would YouTube censor
I don't think
that?
there's a law against it. It's that judges can't. It's up to the judge's discretion to put them on the sex offender list if you rape a 14-year-old.
And trans man Katie Porter, our Katie Porter, a senator in California, is right recognizing that it's an identity, not a gender identity to go after the kids, not a crime or anything like that, right?
Well, they've gone too far on that front, and that's not gonna pass the finish line for them. Sorry to say, there's not that many freaks, honestly. Okay, Iowa House passes bill to establish state magic mushrooms, essentially, how you say it, psilocybin program. And so it's not law yet because obviously it has to go through to the governor to be signed into law and probably the Senate as well. But what do we think about psychedelics as a treatment for post-traumatic stress syndrome amongst other psychological disorders? What do you think about this, Thomas? It's all natural, organic, magic mushrooms.
I'm not personally much of a fan. I've seen CBD.
Wouldn't this be better than the big pharma toxic chemicals that they're using to treat people for, let's just say, PTSD right now? If they can use this constructively, therapeutically?
Well, there's all kinds of poisons in nature as well, and just because poisons are not coming out of the
end of a syringe.
Right, doesn't mean that they're good for you. Like all of these toxic.
Well, everything's up for abuse. You can abuse anything, right? You can drink too much water, overhydrate, and drown yourself. But I'm saying, used correctly, do you think this have any therapeutic benefits?
Well, I've certainly seen different cannabis products work far better for engineers and mechanics and different people that have a pain and back pain and whatnot. I've witnessed.
I can't even report it, but I will report it. A friend of mine, I'm not going to name his name, used it topically. The old Phoenix Tears. You got to speak in code, I guess. I don't know. But those that know, and put it on his on some sketchy spots that he thought maybe skin cancer, and it cleared it up. And was it that? I don't know, but that happened. So I know a personal story where that happened. And
making the parasites so high that they all die, right?
So we'll have to follow that and see if it becomes law there in Iowa. Surprisingly enough, very in the Midwest. Thinking alternative
to try, right?
I think right to try, except for any treatment, except for miracles. Okay, what do we make of this? It's going to take them like a year and a half. I think they're reporting to phase it out. But today, the USDA or the FDA, excuse me, we'll put it on screen so I don't screw up the report. The US FDA, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, that's a Bobby Kennedy Jr., who they didn't kill his dad and his uncle fame. He's the secretary of that now. And U.S. Food and Drug Administration today announced a series of new measures to phase out all, I like that. They say petroleum-based synthetic dyes. I like that they use that terminology here. From the nation's food supply, a significant milestone in the administration's broader initiative to make America healthy again. What do you think of this? But reports say it's going to take like another year and a half before it phases out. FDA's to phase out dyes used in flaming hot Cheetos. I don't know what Trump's going to use for skin dye, but so Trump may push back on this actually. Skittles and other snacks. So it's not going to be Orange Man bad too much longer because they're getting rid of his orange flaming hot Cheeto skin dye.
Yeah. Well, all of the maggots are going to be very angry that they're banning their favorite dyes, but there's still tons of supply at the Alex Jones methylene blue, cancer-causing, carcinogenic, toxic blue dye store. They're selling it at record levels into genotoxic also. Causes reproductive organ.
Be nice to Alex Jones. He's having a midlife crisis, an identity crisis. He's trying to. I think they're still gonna shut him down at some point here. That the lawsuit.
He's talking about it again.
I think they are at some point going to shut it down because they basically have made it. If the court ruling said that they're levying his wages, so basically he's going to be paying that. What is it? $2 billion. Court settlement the rest of his life unless he makes $2 billion or whatever it was. Like he's in bad shape financially, so he's trying anything he can to scrape by at this point.
Yeah, so go to the Alex Jones store and buy yourself some cancer-causing, carcinogenic blue methylene blue, and then we see Mike Adams.
That doesn't sound very healthy.
Pumping this again, record pumping this.
I like the new current thing that they always, we just discovered this. It's like, come on, guys, you're pumping the new current thing. It's BS, obviously. Come on, man. I thought you guys are better than that.
It's like it's being fed to them, and they're just paid to do it.
Feels like it, right? It feels like
Alex
it.
Jones is a Esalen Institute, Rockefeller Esalen Institute puppet, propped up with all of these influencers.
It feels like it.
Including Joe Rogan is an Esalen Institute puppet, and Matthew North did a documentary on that, exposing all of that, and he was immediately killed within 2 weeks later of that airing.
It's a coincidence.
Another coincidence.
Okay, so the policy change will hit food and drink companies like PepsiCo, General Mills, and Kellogg, and I guess InfoWars as well. I don't know.
Strangely, not being applied to InfoWars' sudden massive campaign to fill every Trump refusenik with genotoxic blue dyes.
We'll get them one way or another here. Yeah, so that's happening, but it's going to take like a year and a half to phase out. I don't know. Okay, so specifically, the FDA is eliminating red dye 40, yellow dye 5, yellow dye 6, blue dye 1, blue dye 2, green dye 2. Why was it ever allowed in the food supply in the first place? FDA, I thought you were keeping it safe. Everything that they pull off the market had to first be approved by them. And we're constantly seeing recalls, pulling it off the market. But hey, I thought you guys are the expert. Why the hell did you ever let it on the market in the first place?
Let's show it to them. Let's show them. Let's show them the similarity between already banned, internationally recognized as causing cancer, red dye 3 and red dye 40. So here we have red dye 3 right here, 2 rings of benzene with nitrogens on the ends. The only difference with methylene blue is you have a sulfur in the center, and then you have 4 methyl groups, which are even more toxic. So you're adding and more genotoxic.
What's the one, Thomas? We got a comment here. What is it? HK. The one they named it right here, but what's the other name for it? Cinemax. What the heck's it?
Cinemax, that's different. That's for HEK 293.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that they're going to be mad if they ban that. I'll be upset. You know, I like my baby flavored Pepsi.
Yeah, that should definitely be banned. But then Lizer just lied that it wasn't in there to the regulators, and then they put it in there.
See, all you gotta do is just lie. I mean, I trust the companies that produce these chemicals, right? I mean, if you can't trust them, who can you trust? The FDA?
Well, you can trust your celebrities on the internet. I've been banned by a huge number of them for screaming at me like this guy in the picture. How dare you expose my cancer-causing form of magic potion? Block, right? And now I've gone and pissed off the disinfo center runners like fat, despicable slob Kevin McCarron.
Well, Thomas, the only medical advice I can give on this show is fast because it's free, and everybody probably does eat too much. So, how about fast and see how and pray and see how that works out for you? And that's our extent of medical advice on this show because it's free and you literally don't have to do anything. Just stop shoveling stuff in your face.
Yeah, right. Literally,
it's like the easiest thing you could do, but it's very difficult actually with all these flavor enhancers in all this food. It triggers you wanting to eat more and so on and so on. So simply fast and pray, and I think we would be okay if everybody would get with that program. Okay, moving on. I know you're a big fan of this guy, as am I. Former Nestle CEO is now the interim chairman of the World Economic Forum, Peter Brabeck Letamoth. I don't even know why this guy has a hyphenated name. I thought that was for like feminist chicks, but this guy has a hyphenated name, so maybe he's a feminist chick. I don't know. But let's take a picture. Somebody said just search him up and look at the weird images, and so I did. And then we'll play.
He's probably into those aardvark lifestyles, if you know what I mean.
I don't know. This guy, he's like, this weird image of him came out recently that's going around the interwebs, where he has this weird looking robot eye. So he has a couple that he looks okay. I don't know if this image is altered or what, but he has some type of eye problem. Of course, he's famous for saying that water is not a human right. I think we have that video here. Let's play that video.
Rohmaterial, das wir heute noch auf der Welt haben. Es geht darum, ob wir das normale Wasserversorgung der Bevölkerung privatisieren oder nicht. Und da gibt es zwei verschiedene Anschauungen. Die eine Anschauung, extrem würde ich sagen, wird von einigen von den NGOs vertreten, die darauf pochen, dass Wasser zu einem öffentlichen Recht erklärt wird. Das heißt, als Mensch sollten Sie einfach Recht haben, um Wasser zu haben. Das ist die eine Extremlösung. Ja? Und die andere, die sagt, Wasser ist ein Lebensmittel, so wie jedes andere Lebensmittel, sollte das einen Marktwert haben. Ich persönlich glaube, es ist besser, man gibt einem Lebensmittel einen Wert, sodass wir alle bewusst sind, dass das etwas kostet, und dann anschließend versucht, dass man mehr spezifisch für diesen Teil der Bevölkerung, der keinen Zugang zu diesem Wasser hat, dass man dann dort etwas spezifisch...
You know what I mean? There's a guy from Nestle that doesn't think water is a human right. I mean, that guy should be hunted down and shot. Yeah. Right? And they're going to sit and just talk about all the, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, we got to get America back to work.
It's like, dude, this guy wants to own the rain. Can we do something about this guy? He was at Nestle. You're supposed to be happy, like making cocoa for people. And this guy's like going, well, people are running out of water. What if we owned all the water and we kept it under our place? And in the future, when everybody...
It's funny how liberal comedians are allowed to insinuate violence right there. I mean, if you and I said that, we'd have a knock on the door, and we definitely don't advocate for violence against any of these people. Just, you can simply start by voting with your wallet and not buying any Nestle products. And that's a very old story that this guy talked about, water not being a human right.
He supposedly had some kind of illness that he wasn't willing to name. It was terminal. He was supposed to be dead in 6 months.
Is that pink eye? Like, what was the, what was it? I forget, was it monkeypox? It was one of these fake things that were, well, I think it was bird flu, right? If you got pink eye, then they said you had bird flu, and that was like a symptom of it, something. Maybe that's bird flu or something.
So he
What?
wouldn't. He was interviewed about it, asked about it, but he dodged the question as to what it is. So he didn't want anyone to know what it is. So it's probably some kind of maybe he had monkeypox from some kind of.
He looks fine to me. I don't know. That looks fine. Like, did they try to pick the most evil looking guy? It feels like they're mocking us. Like Klaus Schwab wasn't evil enough with that one leather getup that he had. I think we have it with this getup, and so like we'll bring in the guy with the that's pink eye now. Remember this leather getup suit that Klaus Schwab had? So they're like, nah, we need to up our game on Dr. Evil and bring in the guy with the monkeypox eye.
Well, he's certainly not for taxing the oligarchy or fighting the oligarchy. So I wonder if Bernie Sanders is going to be attacking him. Of course, he won't be. He was also on the board of directors of Credit Suisse and ExxonMobil, of course, another Rockefeller oil company, and the European Roundtable of Industrialists. And he's a member of the foundation board of the World Economic Forum, the foundation board, and the board of trustees prior to that. So London also the oh, I see.
They're making sense here. Lies that bind says, if water's not a human right and he has it, what is he? Not a human? Oh, maybe a lizard, Nephilim, who knows? Clone, drone, robot, guy wearing a mask. I don't know, but yeah. And they were scamming here in California, bottling. I forget the exact scam, and I really don't even feel like looking it up. But they're him at Nestle, extremely dishonest company. Just don't do business with them is the first thing you could do. You don't have to
and
go
they
do.
couldn't have possibly gone for anybody young. Certainly not even a boomer, a Gen Xer. I mean, this guy.
Maybe he got the life extension technology, as you were saying. That he
18
was already...
years ago, he was 63 years old. So he's 70. He's 81 years old. So talk about keeping it in the old guard. They switched from 88-year-old Klaus Schwab to 81 years old. So congratulations on their massive leap of leadership to the youth of a whopping 7 whole years from 88.
Very progressive of them, yes.
Yeah, very progressive.
Okay. On to the good news. The big news of the day, Putin has offered to freeze the war along current front lines in a proposed peace deal with Trump, according to the Financial Times. In talks with Trump's envoy, Putin floated dropping claims to parts of Ukraine if the United States recognizes Crimea as Russian and blocks Ukraine from joining NATO. Trump hopes to finalize a deal by April 30th in order to make it a win for his administration within its first 100 days. Can Trump pull this off? Trump said 24 hours on the campaign trail that he would end this war, and that has not come to fruition. Is this real, fake, head fake by Putin? What do you think?
Putin, certainly he's offered many times to halt his actions. He has some conditions to that. Zelensky signed the contracts.
He wants Crimea. He wants Crimea, the annexation of Crimea.
Right. And Zelensky signed the agreements and agreed to everything, and then he reneged on the agreements. So, and then the mainstream, right, Aardvark media, is lying through their face that Putin doesn't want peace, and Putin is the one doing this. Of course, it's just blame Putin bad, and lie through their teeth about it nonstop. And then the dunce caps, the NPCs, that still don't get it. The masses still say, "Oh, the media! Why isn't the media reporting this?" Yet more than 90% of the media is owned by 6 major aardvark corporations in America. Of course, they're not going to report on. Of course, they're never going to report on these kind of things, and they still don't get it. They're still not waking up. I mean, it's just outrageous.
So Alex Jones told me it's the Great Awakening, right-wing populist takeover of everything. The New World Order's over. That's what he says now. There couldn't be anything further from the truth. But I don't know what happened to him. But Alex Jones and Infowars have gone downhill. I can't even listen to the broadcast anymore because he's such a Trump bootlicker. That's a side point, but very sad indeed. Okay, your favorite topic.
You don't like those blue dyes, do you?
I don't even care about the dye. I can't handle the never-ending Trump bootlicking, and he's basically Q 2.0, making every excuse under the sun for Trump's misdeeds and dealing. And another big one is back in the day, he would address the aardvark issue. He won't even address it now. He just, you know what I mean? And it's the big elephant. It's the aardvark in the room right now, as far as geopolitics goes. And to not even address it and say, "Oh, that's a little side issue," when they're doing an active genocide, actively right now. Looks like they may very well attack Iran and kick off a bigger regional war, potentially a world war. Is a pretty big freaking deal. And he just said, "That's a side issue. It's kind of a big deal, but whatever they want to do over there, that's fine. That's their free speech." I wish they would be a little more critical of the Trump administration, to say the least.
One more comment on this guy Brabeck. What's his name there? Peter. Yes, Peter Brabeck Lamath, your new World Economic Forum dictator. Nestle had child slave plantations in the Ivory Coast of Africa, and the International Labor Rights Fund was fighting him, particularly at Nestle, years ago, even 20 years ago, exposing this. And his response to the child slaves at his slavery plantations in Africa just 20 years ago, I'm sure I'll get a total pass by the aardvark media for that. His response was that, well, we have to have the child slaves working at the slavery plantations, otherwise they're going to be in a sex exploitation bar for the tourists. So you have to support us having the child slaves on the plantation.
Well, see, that's reasonable. If they didn't slave them, somebody else would. More about real quickly, and then we'll move on to the aardvark section of the show, and then we'll wrap it up for everybody, as we're almost at 2 hours. This is the one that I was remembering about Nestle. They throw that on the screen. Nestle doesn't have valid rights to water. It's been bottling in California. And this was when they're pumping. We're in a drought. I believe we were in a drought because the state was dumping a bunch of water right in the ocean and not enough water storage. And I drone on and on about our water issues here in California. But adding to the drought back in 2001 here now, when it was a big fad to go around drought shaming people, watering their lawn and the like, Nestle was they're illegally bottling water during a drought. They did not have valid rights to it from a pipe that they put in San Bernardino National Forest to sell their water labeled as Arrowhead brand bottled water. So they're the good guys, and if they didn't enslave the kids, then somebody else would. And if they didn't illegally bottle water here in California, then somebody else would. So, I mean, you got to give them a pass on that stuff, right? Very progressive of them,
too. They're making your chocolate. Here, pull this one up. They're making your chocolate, in which Consumer Reports found 28 out of 28 chocolates, including Nestle, had lead and toxic levels of lead and cadmium in there, including your dark chocolate, all tainted. So here they are making your lead chocolates and cadmium chocolates and tainted with all kinds of other stuff.
It's helping kids learn chemistry, Thomas.
Right, 90% of American chocolates all tainted, and then of course fact fraudster cartels like Snopes came out and said, it's not a misinformation. They said it's 90%, but it's only 82%.
They love that. They love the little intricate details. Allegedly, you're off by 8%. So see, it's actually healthy for you. You're missing that heavy metal in your diet that you didn't get from the chemtrails and from the rest of the pollution. Here on this Earth Day, we celebrate the pollution of the Earth.
It's beyond good. It's beyond good.
It's beyond good. See, it's untrue because you're 8% off there in your calculations, allegedly, according to the fact checkers.
Nothing to see here. Correlation is not equal to causation.
There you go.
Continue eating your chocolates on your food stamp money for the Democrats.
Never fast and pray, for God's sake. Don't do that. Okay.
You got to close down those refineries because oil might go to zero again, and the Rockefellers won't be happy.
Liza Bond said, did you know, let's put it on the screen, did you know artesian means is that the well runs out of the pipe as opposed to the same water source having to be mechanically or hand pumped? Well, hey, you got to put a nice French spin on such frauds and scams. Okay, the last section of the show, the aardvarks. We always save them to last. As Q said, we're saving the aardvarks to last. So that's what we do is follow our psyops from the riddlers on the internet, Q. No, but seriously, Anti-Defamation League says anger at aardvark land is now the driving force behind anti-Semitism in the United States. Well, you think so? They're committing genocide, open war crimes, just killing the hell out of anybody and everybody all around that area that they deem to be terrorists. You think that could create some more terrorists and negative sentiment against aardvark land? I don't know. The AP is reporting to us here now. I know it's shocking, but the Anti-Defamation League is concerned now. Maybe they should say stop bombing innocent civilians. But that would be anti-Semitic too, I guess. Here's well, this is the big story of the day. The Trump has put this out. He had a phone call with our shadow president, Bibi, today. And Trump says, I've spoken to Prime Minister of Aardvark Land, Bibi, relative to numerous subjects, including trade, Iran, etc. The call went very well. We are on the same side of every issue. Well, isn't that sweet?
Well,
isn't that sweet? But I thought the DOJ announced anti-Christian task force here. Well, you can't even prophesize Jesus in aardvark land. They'll literally arrest you. So where is we're having a disconnect here on the whole Trump administration's agenda when it comes to religion specifically.
Well, they'll have to change the slogan to Mazog, make America's dog again. They'll have to change it to Mazaga, and the way that they're going. So that's shocking.
So Trump's he admits this is a self-incriminating admission that he's fully on board with genocide and ethnic cleansing.
And so much for the stopping the wars, getting out of the wars. Of course, Israel wants to, as per their government military representatives all over the news in the last 48 hours, stating that they plan to go after all of these other countries, including Turkey and even Jordan. They're going to start going in there, and they plan to go back into Iraq as well.
Well, they got a real estate redevelopment plan to fulfill there for Adelson, for what's his son-in-law. The hell's his name? I can't even think. Kushner, yeah. Adelson. They're all big real estate developers, and they've already paid Trump off in the hundreds of millions of dollars for the sign off on this real estate redevelopment program. Out of deep concern for the state of aardvark land, they're having big internal battles here now. This is right from Aardvark Times. They're Shin Bet chief. This guy's the internal. As we continue to report, what is he? The Internal Intelligence Service says that Bibi demanded personal loyalty from him above respect for the law. He's now signed an affidavit here. So this is like aardvark on aardvark crime going on here. And he said he would not target the opposition there in aardvark land domestically. And so this guy is now an anti-Semite, allegedly, according to those that are in the anti-Semitism game.
You're not allowed to dare criticize the regime.
Apparently not. This guy is part of the regime and said even the tyranny was even too much for him, and said, I'm not going along with this tyranny. And I said, you're out of here, dude. You're now anti-aardvark. And he's like, wait, I am aardvark. What is going on here?
And you look at the brainwashing and manipulation that they used throughout the generations, and even used on the
ADL is going to go after this guy next. It wouldn't surprise me. And it's like, wait, this guy's as aardvark as it gets. You can't be going after him. Well, he went against the domestic tyranny there in aardvark land. We got to go after him.
And the manipulation that's endlessly been used is, how dare you be a sympathizer? So they just, even if you're a sympathizer of the Palestinians, you're some evil abomination. How dare you?
Well, they're all terrorists. They're born terrorists.
Compassion with the Palestinians, with the Christian Russians, with the Christian Armenians, with the Christian Iraqis, with the Kurds, with the Syrians, with any of these other people, anywhere, with the Cambodians that were carpet bombed. Oh, we needed to carpet bomb every single last building across the entire country because the Viet Cong were supposedly, with no evidence, supposedly using the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So that we need to bomb every building in the entire country because there might have been one Viet Cong there. So how dare you criticize? But disinformation is the name of the game, you super spreader. So I just want to get this into the show here, this last image here of the message from this proud nest commander of the countering online misinformation and disinformation centers, who is now promised to make me the #1 priority in his entire life, and with his massive army of
he needs to get a life,
because this is obviously a threat, and it's a criminal threat, and also a threat, an intentional threat of illegal libel, slander, and defamation. Here this guy is. He says, and you look at his rat bastard profile. What is this satanic rat bastard face that he uses?
Where do you even find these characters? There's some characters on the interwebs.
Yeah, this is one of the main people in all of the health spaces and all of these podcasts on YouTube and whatnot, where YouTube allows him to run these defamation.
Well, he's a good guy.
Against any of the doctors, the health freedom doctors, and the Maha doctors, etc., slandering them endlessly, going after them, and defaming them as much as they possibly can, and trying to discredit them and whatnot. So, and here he says he's going to dismantle my life. So this is the priority for these Disinfo Center people, is quote unquote dismantling the life of the breakthrough energy innovators. And he says, I'm doing a free energy grift. That's interesting. So he plans on doing it for months, whatever he's going to do. So I welcome the marketing campaign of the trolls. After all of this time, I really don't have any trolls. So it'd be nice to finally have some to up the numbers, and maybe some of the BC wondering, where's all his trolls? Where's all the trolls? Aren't? That's how censored I am. So hopefully they can get the numbers up. But that is
the only way I can get traffic is from trolls. I'm so shadow banned.
Yeah, yeah. So he's coming into my the hunting and stalking, right? Stalking and harassment, going into all of these different social media platforms to then put these threats in. Interestingly enough, check this out. He has all of these super permissions that nobody in the infosec industry knows how to do. Nobody in crypto knows how to do. Nobody in blockchain knows how to do. So he can go into your Telegram chat group unannounced. So there's no, when people enter into the chat group, it always shows the name you've entered. All of the people's name has joined the group. He can go in there and there's no announcement. So he's got some magical way to do that somehow that the coders don't even know how to do. And then when he has a message there, you can search for the name in your list of your group.
He's got administrative God mode access, right?
somehow is quite interesting. He could sell that information because all of the scammers don't even know how to do this. You search for the name and it doesn't even come up in your list of it. So he can stay hidden in your Telegram group. He can stay completely hidden and you can't find it. And then when you look up the profile, the ad handle, the actual handle of the account doesn't show up either. So he's got at least 3 different methods that nobody else seems to even understand in all of the Telegram and crypto industry. How to do this is very interesting. I've never seen that before. So from his post, I literally had to use his post as a way to report and then delete, block ban and whatnot to get this guy out of the room making multiple posts. So we'll see what kind of traffic he can generate for us. Thank you so much, trolls, to volunteer your time and your lives and make us a priority to get us.
They're probably getting paid, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, they don't do anything else, to do this all day long, right, as a career. I mean, it shows, as he said, and he was outed by JJ Couey for working for and getting paid. And when they were getting paid to do it, that's when JJ Couey outed them at that point in time, when JJ Couey was going to get paid as well.
I'm glad they're doing something constructive with their lives.
Yeah, I mean, what could possibly be more constructive than attacking the
trolling people
the breaker energy?
All day.
It's for climate.
That's how we celebrate Earth Day, of course.
That's science, is to go after the breakthrough energy innovators and destroy their lives, dismantle their lives. What could be? So here we have energy suppression again, right? But they'll have to do something very, very over the top special. Us breakthrough energy innovators, we've been through absolute hell, far more hell than these guys could ever unleash, and we're already staring at down the barrel of guns as our life mission. So I'm not sure that you trolls are really going to do anything that is going to be anything new, whatever you can come up with. So welcome to Get Us in Traffic. Thanks for being our new marketing arm. Let's see what kind of results you can generate.
Be careful, don't get your feelings hurt on the interwebs. Indeed lies that bind, nothing new under the sun. I agree. It seems like people would be able to see this as they keep running the same program, but hey, it works, so they keep fooling everybody. But there is literally nothing new under the sun. Yeah, the truth must be.
Can you imagine? I mean, for them to put a Nest commander, right, that's running the online disinformation centers, countering online misinformation and disinformation, and they're going to make that their life mission for months with everything that they're doing is to take out a breakthrough energy innovator. Why would they? Why would that be so important for them? I mean, that's a really interesting.
Seems
question.
like a noble pursuit and honest work.
Yeah. Lies that bind said the truth must be very dangerous. There must be something very, very, very dangerous about this particular guy. If you're gonna make that your life mission to go after this particular individual, that is very interesting, isn't it?
Last story here, and then we'll wrap up today as we're at the 2-hour mark. Aardvark Land shares, then deletes condolences over Pope's death. I don't know why they would do that, but they did do that. Here's the story from Reuters. I don't know why they would do that, but I guess they felt the need to delete it, as it may upset aardvarks. The aardvark government shared, then deleted a social media post offering condolences over the death of Pope Francis without saying why, though an aardvark newspaper linked the decision to the late pontiff's criticism of the war in Gaza.
What criticism?
No, well, he said that we played the. He said it was wrong what they're doing there. He did say that.
I mean, it took what 100,000 people murdered, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 women and children murdered before the guy made the first peep about any of it. I mean, it's surprising he made any peep at all on his deathbed. He finally makes a peep about it, hoping that God will forgive him for his open promotion of abominations and everything else. Maybe he'll make a conciliatory peep about the genocide there finally.
All right. Thank you, Thomas from Alpha Mega Energy, for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News, the special edition of Earth Day, where we promote pollution of the environment, because everything bad gets boosted, apparently. I don't know.
Chopping down the forests and fighting those breakthrough energy innovators, dismantling their lives.
We promote cutting down trees and burying them to sequester the CO2. They literally have a program doing that. Maybe we can find some more constructive use of the lumber than simply burying it. I don't know. It's hard to come by any funding from the environmentalists, though, these days for actually constructive projects. But we'll keep looking here. Let's go to the channels quickly. Let's go to the Odysee, see if anybody's in. Oh, we have a few people in the chat on the Odysee. We got Barry, Unknown, Huffman. Who else do we got? Looks like that's it. Is there any? Well, thank you guys for tuning in to the Odysee.
Let's end on this one here. This is perfect.
Thank you for tuning in to the Odysee. Appreciate it for Earth Day. Let's see what you got.
Right. Nothing better than Earth Day. Do you have any history of mental illness in your family? We all like to troll breakthrough clean energy innovators and claim it's all a scam.
Seems fair. Seems fair to me.
Exactly your Earth Day behavior. Way to go, disinfo centers.
Don't forget to dump your oil in the gutter this Earth Day. Okay.
Close your refineries.
And recycling is a scam as well. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee. The Bitchute, shout out to Bitchute. They are doing good. They're responsive. They're like one of the only tech companies that is responsive. When you send them an email, they fix the problem pretty damn good. So shout out to you, Bitchute tech support, because I was live streaming and then it wasn't doing whatever, clicking over to be loaded on many shows, and it's happened a few times, but I email them and they fix it pretty dang quick. And so shout out to Bitchute tech support, the audience watching over there. Thank you guys all for tuning in on the Bitchute. Bitchute's all right operation as far as I could tell. And we're getting
everybody go to weaponizednews.com, get yourself some Weaponized News stickers to put on a failing Tesla Motors car or in their dealership, and hand them out to the people so they can find out what's really going on in life. Support Weaponized News, support Sam Chaney and what he's doing. Go buy some of his other merchandise.
Well, we want to put them on Teslas and then have the Tesla be attacked and then play the victim and then get millions of dollars from being the victim of an attack on a Tesla because they had a Weaponized News sticker.
They might damage one of these incredibly valuable stickers, and then you have to sue them for vandalism.
For hurt feelings is like the worst. But okay, shout out to the Rumble audience. Always a lively chat in there. Thank you guys for keeping that going. The Facebook, shout out to Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Facebook. The YouTube, as always, someday, some way, we will get 1,000 subscribers on there. Maybe, I don't know, or be banned first. We're trying to walk the line of
go trolls, go trolls, go.
We're trying to walk the line of community guidelines here to comply with YouTube. So thank you, YouTube audience, and those tuning in on that platform. Kick and Twitch for the video gamers that want to get a little bit of the news of the day and break the social engineering mind control program that's going on the interwebs constantly. As always, everybody do your own research, peace, love, and liberty. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow on a Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. I think we'll have Ruckus joining us tomorrow if everything sorts out correctly. We look forward to him on Weapon.